From the moment you're born, it consumes you. The need to go faster. It starts as a dream. Then that dream becomes an obsession. It takes hold of every waking moment. Foot driven through the floor, you chase that feeling. It's perpetual, it drives you. And again, you go to war to satisfy that insatiable hunger for speed. The harder you push, the closer you get. Until one day, it's yours. And for a brief moment, the voice subsides. But then again, it echoes from the depths of your dreams. Go faster.
132 days since the checkered flag fell in London. Season 12 of Formula E begins in the blistering Brazilian sunshine. 80,000 fans are expected to line the stands of the Sambadrome for today's race. Welcome along to the 2025 Google Cloud Sao Paulo ePrix. And here is a look at this magnificent circuit. 11 turns in total, 2.9 kilometres. Talk us through it, James.
Huge run down to turn 1, tight chicane, overtaking opportunity there. On the outside of turn 3, we have the attack mode where they have to activate their 350 kilowatt four-wheel drive. Long straight up to turn 4. Here we saw a few mistakes in qualifying and we saw a lot of action in the race last year. Then another straight down to 7 and 8, and then we come up to Sandbird's Corner, the overtaking zone of turn 10, where you can go for that last lap lunge to take the lead and win the Sao Paulo ePrix.
Yeah, on the blast down that start-finish straight, 760 metres in total. Let's run you through the grid, though, for the first race of Season 12 for the Google Cloud Sao Paulo ePrix. It's going to be an absolute scorcher, over 30 degrees air temperature, and even hotter on the tarmac on the ground here in Brazil. 20 of the world's best drivers ready to take to the field as we look at the wonderful skyline. And here is how the grid lines up. An all-apt Lola Yamaha final row. Lucas de Grassi picked up a penalty for a red flag infringement. Both of the cars, though, had drive shaft problems. You've got two rookies on row 9. Ericsson is joined by Drugovic. Drugovic had a crash in Group B, which brought out the red flag. Next up, you've got Maximilian Günther and Nick Cassidy. Cassidy was frustrated. That's his worst starting position here. The highest placed rookie is Pepe Marti for Cupra Kiro. He's alongside reigning world champion Oliver Rowland, who had a difficult start to life this season. Then next up is Taylor Barnard and Nico Muller. New teams for both of those drivers. They line up together on the 6th row of the grid. And here is how the top 10 look. Sebastian Buemi, his best ever grid position in Sao Paulo for Envision, lining up P10. He is alongside Mitch Evans, who came from last to first here 12 months ago. Can he repeat that feat from 9th on the grid here today? Next up is Jean-Eric Verne, best qualifying since Berlin in season 11. Makes it an all-French row 4 though, with his compatriot Norman Nato on the grid. That's his best qualifying since Tokyo back in June. Next up on the grid, you've got Antonio Felix da Costa. He lines up P5, one position lower than he did here last year. His debut for the Jaguar team. Then it's Nick de Vries, his second consecutive race, starting from 5th place. That was back, of course, in London in July. His first top 10 start also in Sao Paulo. Verline got the pole position here today, but a 3-place penalty for wheel spinning in the pit lane means he lines up in 4th position. Eden Mortara, therefore, is promoted to 3rd place. Mahindra, the only team to have both cars inside the top 10 here this afternoon. Dan Ticktum, his 3rd front row start of his Formula E career. Previous best here was 11th on the grid. And the first pole position is occupied by Jake Dennis, the first time he started at the front of the field since June. It's an all Porsche powered front row with Andretti leading the field. Welcome along to Sao Paulo. My name is Tom Brooks. Alongside me for this one, Sam Bird and James Rossiter. Sam, great to have you here. What are you expecting for this race? It is absolutely baking down on the grid.
It is absolutely baking. The race is 1 lap shorter than last year, which pushes the amount of energy per lap up. That means that it's going to be really testing on the battery. What are we going to see? I think we're going to see early attacks. I think we're going to see a fast, frenetic race.
Yeah, no doubt about it. 1 lap shorter in terms of the race duration as well here, James. So how do you think that's going to play in terms of the strategy and the team's preparation for this?
I think we'll see a slightly faster pace as this race gets underway than we saw last year. Slightly more energy density so they can use more of it per lap, essentially. And I think we're going to see a lot of action, Tom.
As you can see, Google Gemini is our Formula E strategy agent, providing data-driven insights throughout the course of this race. Watch the graphics. They'll be guiding you through some of the things that will be happening as we call what I'm sure is set to be a very exciting start to season Season 12. So all the drivers now, of course, no formation lap in Formula E. They line up a couple of rows back from where they would start, and you can see they're leaving a big trail of rubber as they pull away to try and get heat into the rear tyres.
I would have said that Edo Mortara was slightly out of his pit box there, so maybe the race start will be looking at that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Waiting for the smoke to clear. On board here with Joel Eriksson, the rookie making his full-time debut in Formula E for the Envision team. Right at the back is Lucas de Grassi. Hometown race not going so well for the Brazilian driver. Waiting, though, for the green flag to be waved at the back. And 20 of the world's best drivers will be taking to the grid. 30 laps of action, over 9,000 horsepower on the grid. It's time to send into the Sambadrome as Formula E Season 12 is go. Good start from Dennis. Nice one as well from the front row for Dan Ticktum as we come down towards the first corner. Keep an eye out from behind as well with Edo Mortara jockeying through, and the two Mahindras collide down at the first corner. De Vries into the side of Eduardo Mortara at turn 2, and it looks like one of them might be out of the race.
Absolute mess from Mahindra there. Absolute mess. One of them, I think, will be out of the race as we see Dan Ticktum slowing.
Ticktum got hit, I believe, as well by Nick de Vries. And Nick de Vries got that completely wrong. He hit everybody going down into turn 1.
Yeah, it was like a game of skittles coming down towards that first corner. Now here's the real pinch point on this circuit. Into turns 4, 5 and 6. They're going 2 by 2 in the middle of the pack. You've got Nico Muller, who is on the inside of the Jaguar there of Mitch Evans. We come through on board here with Oliver Rowland. Rowland, of course, did not have a particularly brilliant qualifying. He sits behind Taylor Barnard, P12 at the moment. Meanwhile, the sharp end of this one, Dennis still occupies the lead, followed by Verline, and Mortara, despite the contact with his teammate down at turn 1, is in P3.
Mortara did not stop. You have to stop. If you miss turn 1, you have to stop on the runoff between turn 1 and turn 3. And he did not come to a full stop. He's going to get a penalty for that.
Yeah, race start under investigation. No surprise that popping up on our timing screen then here. De Vries is somehow still in this one. He's sitting in P6 with Mitch Evans close behind.
He also didn't stop going through the runoff. The Mahindra, absolute disaster from both their drivers. And that was all triggered by Nick de Vries.
Yeah, not great at all there for the two Mahindras. Let's see what the outcome of it is. We begin the second lap out of 30 here, though, at Sao Paulo. Verline sitting there in second position, closely followed by Mortara. Then you've got Nato. Antonio Fitness da Costa has made his way up into 5th place, starting from P6. So he's made one position up from where he started. Ticktum is in the pit lane then at the end of that first lap. So
he would have got a puncher then from Nick de Vries hitting him in the rear left.
Let's have a listen.
Been given a puncture. Rear left puncture.
Yeah, you called it absolutely right there, James. Have you got the lottery numbers for next Thursday while we're at it as well?
No, but I could see the cars at the front of the grid, unlike Nick de Vries.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Dan Ticktum to have been caught up in that drama. We'll wait and see, as we say, what the outcome is. Let's have a look down towards turn 1. So De Vries just outbrakes himself, clatters into the back of Ticktum. Mortara, innocent party in that one, but either way, both of them didn't really come to a stop.
So I actually think Nick de Vries did try and stop. Edo Mortara actually didn't go through the bollards, which is what the FIA wanted the drivers to do, and didn't stop at all. So de Vries actually didn't stop. He didn't come to a complete stop. So I think both Mahindra drivers are going to be under investigation very soon.
Have a listen.
Yeah, I mean,
that's unacceptable from a world championship level driver. Sorry.
Lap 1, race 1 of the world championship. You don't want to be seeing that. It's a shame, massive shame for Dan Ticktum, who's not put a foot wrong all weekend.
Let's see Edo Mortara's view of it. He's going to get staked right. Yeah, a clatter from his teammate. He's lucky he didn't get a puncture himself there with contact on the front right tyre, but as you say, didn't come to a stop at the end of that one.
Edo couldn't go through the cones because his teammate had already knocked him off the line, was in the cone, so Edo had nowhere to go, but he should have stopped in the runoff.
Yeah, I wonder if their Christmas card list might be changing somewhat in this race. Heavy face there for Fred Bertrand, the team principal for Mahindra. There is Russell O'Hagan, new team principal at the Cupra Kiro team. We're side by side in the mid-pack though. Meanwhile, this is Nico Muller, who is going toe-to-toe with the Envision of Sebastian Buemi. That's just on the fringes of the top 10. So you can see the winners and losers off the start there. Felipe Drugovic down in 15th place. He's made a couple of positions up from where he started. Look at Oliver Rowland, meanwhile, who's on the inside of Taylor Barnard as they come down through into turn 7 and 8. Barnard's going to get roughed up here, and possibly the door's going to open for Nico Muller as well. We come under the bridge, over the rise of the hill, and Rowland is through.
Well, Rowland actually took 2 cars there. I mean, Muller's been shuffled back, firstly by Buemi, then by both Barnard and Rowland. So Muller's going backwards, Rowland moving forwards.
So we come to the end of the third lap then. Down the start-finish straight, it's now Pascal Wehrlein who's in front. So Dennis has relinquished the lead here. What about Mortara? He's now side by side with Dennis, coming down in towards turn 1. Da Costa on Natto there as well. Bit of a crunch of carbon fibre as it concertinas up through turns 1 and 2. Da Costa's on the inside now of Dennis, who's gone from first down to second, down to third, and now down into fourth place as well. So Da Costa in his debut race for Jaguar, he's not hanging about at all. He started 6th on the grid and is now up into the podium places for the first time.
Yeah, I think Jake Dennis wanted to get out of the lead just for a little bit, maybe to recover a little bit of energy, as we're now seeing a 5-second time penalty for Edo Mortara for not following the race director's instructions.
That's not coming to a stop, of course, at the first corner. Now let's have a look at this double overtake here for Oliver Rowland. So he's on the inside, you've got Barnard and Muller right to your left of it. He's going to pick the pocket of both of them coming into turn 7. There's just enough of a gap.
Oh, beautiful. I mean, you can ask for a better overtake. No, absolute class from the champion.
Brave and direct by Oliver Rowland there.
Yeah, he likes this circuit. He loves a dive up the inside. If you remember here a couple of years ago, when you won the race, Sam, actually, as a matter of fact, he got at the podium and the final corner with a similar sort of move.
On 2 of them as well.
Yeah, exactly. Mortara then with the quickest lap last time around. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon, that's the time. He has got the fastest lap briefly, but he actually picks up a time penalty, of course. So 5-second time penalty. Meanwhile, he's now going for the race lead against Pascal Wehrlein. Takes it quite easily. Wehrlein not putting up too much resistance.
I think that Edo Mortara and the Mahindra team might try and sprint away and try to get a 5-second gap. They're going to completely switch their strategy up. They're going to try and send it. They've got no choice now. They have to try and make a gap and win the race by 5 seconds.
Yeah, they've got nothing to lose at this particular point, have they now, really? Because their race is somewhat compromised courtesy of that 5-second penalty. Still no news for anything on De Vries down to turn 1. We'll wait and see whether that comes to be under investigation or whether any penalties are handed out. Buemi just got ahead of Oliver Rowland down into turn 1 as well. That was for 9th position, so Rowland demoted down into P10. Jono Verne just up in front of them as well. Look at Da Costa harrying Pascal Wehrlein, his former teammate. There's not much love lost between those two drivers. If you've watched the driver series on Amazon Prime, you'll know that they didn't exactly get on, I think is the politest way of putting it. And Da Costa now, of course, with the Jaguar team, no allegiances to Pascal Wehrlein, so he's going to be going for broke in this one.
No, he looks fired up, doesn't he, Antonio? I think he's enjoying his first race with the Jaguar TCS team, and he's smelling a victory here potentially this afternoon.
Yeah, good opportunity for him. Dan Tickton has resumed in this race. The thing for Dan Tickton that he needs to hope for now is a safety car to try and bunch him right up to the back of this one. But it's going to be a tall order because I imagine he's going to be expending a bit more energy than those behind. If you're new to Formula E, welcome along. It's great to have you here. Just a reminder for you, as Da Costa now hits the front ahead of Eduardo Mortara, drivers, teams, they don't know the amount of energy that each of the other cars have remaining at this point in the race, as we see the first attack mode deployment for the Citroën of Jean-Eric Verne. So where's he going to come out in relation to that? I think he just dropped behind Taylor Barnard, so he's down to 11th.
Now watch how quickly he's able to work his way through the field. Currently he's in P10. He's got 4 minutes of attack. He could be leading the race in 3 minutes 45 seconds time. That's absolutely for sure, but it concertina's up at turn 5 and he's had to absolutely slam on the brakes.
And Oliver Rowland made another great move there.
Yeah, Rowland, as you say, just picking them off at the moment. There's a replay of what happened for Eduardo Mortara down to the first corner. Meanwhile, we're side by side for second here. Wehrlein getting the better of Eduardo Mortara. Meanwhile, Natto sitting there in 5th place as well. And let's get down to Albi Lau, who's former chief strategist for the McLaren team in Formula E. Albi, you've got some information on Dan Ticktum's strategy in this race.
Yeah, so Ticktum's engineers have already advised him on what to do, so they're taking sort of page 1 out of the race from the back playbook. Sam's familiar with this one, but basically they're already using less energy and just trying to maintain something like a 10-second gap in front of the leaders, so just praying for that red flag to come out, and by that point they'll be well up on energy compared to everyone else. So just keep your eye on Ticktum just in case there's a red flag.
Yeah, absolutely. Dennis, meanwhile, side by side here with Norman Natto. Natto on the outside, he's going to get shuffled out, and that's going to cost him time and position here then. So we come down the 600-metre long back straight into the chicane. Now our first look at the energy. This is also the team's first look at the energy, just to remind you as well. And who's done a good job? Well, you'd expect Verne, of course, to have expended a bit more because he's in attack mode. You use a bit more energy subsequently, but it's pretty even Stevens, at least for the top 6. De Vries maybe a bit down on the rest.
Yeah, the top 8, top 9, all 80, 81%. The people in 13th to 17th are already 2 to 3% up on the front runners.
And that's because they're sitting in the slipstream. They're able to do that lift and coast.
Absolutely. But they might get in trouble with their battery temperatures as this race progresses.
Look at that, Dennis roughing up Norman Natter. I have to say, this is great for Natter. Really good resurgence and return to form after a challenging season 11. He's putting it mildly. He only scored 21 points over the course of last year. Ended the season 20th in the overall driver standing. So this will be a very welcome result for him. But plenty of time between now and the checkered flag. A smattering of fastest laps now coming in. Look at Verne. He's attacking against Jake Dennis. This should be quite easy.
Okay, did not drop any further back than this. Jev in his first attack, 4 minutes. Good strike from P10.
So that's exactly what I was on about with Jake Dennis. He didn't want to necessarily lead. He just wants to sit in the top 5. That's where his kind of happy zone is. As Jean-Eric Verne, we see, is on the attack ahead of Antonio Felix da Costa, and now he's in 3rd place early on. He's still got 1 minute and 13 seconds left of his attack. I imagine he'll probably want to get to the front.
Well, if you remember, when he took his attack mode, he was down in 11th place. That just goes to show you the rate of progression he's been able to do in this one. Roland has also gone in for his first attack mode in the other Nissan. He's trying to make ground while the field's all bunched up at this first phase.
Yeah, Roland was in P8 and he saw what Jean-Eric was doing and how easy it was for Jean-Eric to just cut through the field and get to the front. And I'm sure that Oliver wants to replicate that. Get himself in a bit of a cleaner area of the racetrack so he's not wheel to wheel every lap, and get himself up to the top 3.
It's exactly what we saw from Mitch Evans last year. If you remember, he came from the back of the grid right to the sharp end, right on cue. There he is in the middle of your picture, 7th position, but he's got De Grassi and Oliver Roland, both of whom are in attack mode. De Vries is into the pit lane then here, so he's going to be retiring from this race. Maybe a legacy of that contact he had at the first corner, and a disappointing first race of the season for the Dutchman. He's got a puncher front right.
I wonder how he got that.
Yeah, there's a bit of karma going on there, I think, for Nick De Vries. And for the Mahindra team, a missed opportunity. They look great in pre-season testing. They've had great pace here this weekend, and they were a pick for a lot of people for a victory here today. Unfortunately, it won't be Nick De Vries unless something really quite bold and miraculous happens. And here at Sao Paulo, that certainly can happen. Meanwhile, you see Mitch Evans with Sebastian Buemi side by side into the chicane. Buemi's now going to have the outside line, so Evans picks it back up and holds the place for 9th position for now. Meanwhile, the sharp end of this one, it's Verne that leads the way. He's now out of that attack mode, but you can see he's made 7 places or so up from where he was at the start of this race, but subsequently he made 10 places up from when he took that first attack mode.
Absolutely, and Ollie Rowland's coming through as well, made up 8 places in this race so far. 2 minutes left in his attack mode up to P5, so he's marching forwards.
It would be interesting to see if Jean-Eric can actually now stay at the front. Now he's got himself there. How long can he maintain that
What do
pace?
you want me to do now? We take the lead and we get a gap. If we can get a gap, it's perfect. 1 to 1.5 seconds.
Well, I don't think he's going to be getting a gap because Ollie Rowland is in attack with 1.5 minutes to go, and he's right on Jean-Eric Verne's heels.
You can see Verne, of course, has used more energy. He was in attack mode. That's to be expected. He's about 2% down on Oliver Rowland, who I assume will be in a similar situation before too long. Now, in fact, Rowland takes the lead of the race, and the reigning world champion hits the front for the first time in season 12. Just come up on our timing screen. Dan Tickton, to compound his woes, is under investigation for a burnout in the pit lane. There's new sporting regulations. We saw wheel spin in the pit lane for Verline earlier, giving him a 3-place grid penalty. So I wonder if that might be a time penalty for the Briton in this race as well.
Yeah, I can imagine a bit of frustration after what happened with the puncture, and then by the time the mechanics got the tyres on, maybe just a bit too much acceleration in the pit lane, and with one of the rear tyres being cold, very difficult not to spin wheels.
Looking at the energies of the cars at the moment, Jean-Eric Verne has the least of anybody inside the top 10. He was 3% down on Ollie Rowland just a second ago.
Coming down in towards turn 9 and 10 we go. Mitch Evans on the attack then. 3 minutes of attack mode compared to everybody else in front of him, but for Da Costa immediately, who's also in that attack mode. So expect to see those two elevating themselves up the order. Evans now gets the better of Jake Dennis as they come down the start-finish straight. 350 kilowatts and, of course, all-wheel drive as well. So Da Costa is through and into 4th position. He'll be on the heels, and I'm sure going past Jean-Eric Verne and possibly Pascal Verline before too long. Meanwhile, Norman Natto's gone in for his first attack mode from 8th position at the moment. There is Da Costa on Verne for 3rd. And coming down in towards the chicane, I'm sure it will, again, only be a formality before he's attacking against the Porsche. Mitch Evans, meanwhile, is just in front here of Eduardo Mortara, so he's made his way up into 5th position from the lower positions of the top 10. Here comes Da Costa on the outside of Pascal Wehrlein. Wehrlein knows to not fight that too much. He's playing the longer game. Of all of the drivers inside the top 5 at the moment, the only ones that haven't taken attack mode, or the only one that hasn't taken attack mode, is actually Pascal Wehrlein. So he's playing a different strategy, a longer game here in this race, hoping that he can exercise that first attack mode when everybody else has expended theirs, and make progress at the same rate, but a bit later on.
Dan Ticktum's under investigation again for the team is anyway, working on the car in an unsafe condition. So the day just gets bad to worse for Dan Ticktum and Kiro. Plus, it looks like he's going to get lapped any minute now by Ollie Rowland.
Yeah, bit of disappointment there for Dan Ticktum and for the Cooper Kiro team. Missed opportunity for that outfit. Pepe Marti, his rookie teammate, is 13th at the moment, so it's a bit of a tall order for him to get into the points-paying positions, because drivers behind are not necessarily representative of their pace, because some have cycled through with different positions in this one. Meanwhile, here is Da Costa with his teammate Evans now sitting in 3rd position. Spoke to Ian James down on the grid. He was quietly confident of a strong result. He said our pace in 300 kilowatts is good. We're happy with that.
What the f*** are these guys doing here? Yeah, we saw it, right. Okay, Degrassi now out to attack.
So it sounds like Evans not happy with the driving standards of some of the field. You can see Google Gemini says that the race is picking up pace. Last 3 lap times have shown significant improvement. They're absolutely right, of course. 1 minute 13 the last lap for Antonio Felix Da Costa.
The Jaguars are looking very, very racy. They look like they're picking up exactly where they left off at the end of last season. 3 wins in a row. And the car looks great for race pace.
See what happened here to Evans. There was contact then with Eduardo Mortara going down into 4, 5 and 6, and that we saw him going a little bit wide. We sort of caught the back end of it when we were looking at the heli shot last time, and he did have a bit of contact then with the Sol Mahindra in this race. Now Da Costa is in front, demotes Oliver Rowland down to 2nd. Evans has got 25 seconds of attack mode left, and he's not too far. In fact, no, beg your pardon, that's Evans in front now, isn't it? So it's the 2 Jaguars that are 1 and 2, Da Costa leading his teammates.
And I think Wehrlein's just gone into attack as well, so expect to see him join the fight at the front again.
So Pascal Wehrlein then going for that late attack mode. The only driver now that's inside the top 10 that hasn't used any is actually Jake Dennis. We're side by side meanwhile here with Dennis versus Sebastian Buemi. Buemi's going to shuffle Dennis towards the wall. That might open the door here for Lucas Di Grassi to take profit in the Lola Yamaha Apps car. Not quite able to do anything at the moment here is Lucas Di Grassi as he tries to put a show on for his home fans in Sao Paulo. But again, Dennis playing a different strategy in this race. How do you think this one's going to play out here, James?
I don't know how this is going to play out at all. I mean, let's be honest, the only thing that I can see playing out is the fact that both the Jaguars are looking incredibly good right now. They won the race last year. I mean, they're looking really, really strong. I want to see how Pascal's going to come through. I think he's going to struggle now to overtake Mortara because they're both in the attack mode.
We need efficient overtakes and go for the lead.
So again, playing the longer game then here are the Porsche team at the moment. So Wehrlein with more attack mode remaining than anybody else around him. You can see Mortara's got 1 minute and 30 or so. Wehrlein's got 1 minute and 20 seconds or so more than that. So of course they'll be coming to the end of their active attack mode, and the rest of the field will be, whilst he has got a little bit more left in his pocket. So that's when he'll try and really take advantage of it. Meanwhile, the sharp end of this one, Nato is now through and into 2nd position, and now in fact the race lead, he's got the better of Antonio Felix Da Costa just as he ends attack mode part 1 for him, as Ticktum's been given a drive-through penalty for that burnout in the pit lane. So again, he's really going to be hoping for a red flag to, well, bring him back onto the lead lap, if nothing else, to be honest. Let's have a look at Sebastian Buemi then. Where is Buemi at the moment? He's 7th on the road, and he was side by side here with Jake Dennis going into 4. This is into the left-hander of turn 5. There was contact between them, and Dennis had to get out of the throttle, otherwise he'd have ended up in the barrier.
Yeah, decent driving from Seb there, using his experience, just holding the inside and shuffling Jake Dennis out towards the wall, giving him room, but showing him that, look, this is my corner.
Already nearly the halfway stage of this race. Mortara attacks against Antonio Felix Da Costa. 30 seconds left of attack mode for Mortara. Needs to make progress while he can in this one, but keep an eye out and cue the Jaws music for Pascal Wehrlein, because he's got 1 minute and 30 seconds left and the field is still quite close. Rowland is now on the inside here of Mitch Evans. There's contact between turn 3. That's going to drop him down behind the DS Penske of Taylor Barnard, who's coming through and gets 2 places in the space of a couple of 100 metres.
Yeah, it looks pretty impressive from Taylor. I'd love to see an energy reveal anytime soon and see how Taylor's doing, because we haven't seen much of him in this race, and young man's coming through the field nicely when it counts.
Haven't seen much of him this weekend at all, to be honest. It's not been a bad debut for him in the DS Penske, but certainly not the performances that we've seen from him over the last 12 months or so when he was at the Neil McLaren team. Of course, he got a podium, his debut podium here last season.
So Pascal was given the instructions to get to the front and get in the lead. He's got 2 cars in front of him, very close quarters, and he's got to make this count now. He's only got 1 minute to get there. Yeah,
crucial here for Wehrlein to make profit, and he does do so. He's up into second position. Now he needs to get the better of Norman Nato. 40 seconds of attack mode then remaining here for Pascal Wehrlein out of the final corner, and this should be relatively easy. 4-wheel drive as well as an extra 50 kilowatts of power down the start-finish straight, and Wehrlein blasts his way into the race lead. And look at the energy there. He's not too far away from Norman Nato. The other drivers behind are a little bit better on it, but otherwise looks okay for now, as he can, well, hopefully try and save a bit of energy now he's expended it after that first attack mode deployment.
Yeah, Norman needs to now just latch onto the back of Wehrlein and try and save a little bit of energy. He's just that little bit down on everybody else around him. You look at Da Costa, Dennis, Buemi, Roland, all at 51. Nato down.
Whoa! Mortara, sorry, in front of you there, Sam, is side by side with Norman Nato. I thought Nato might have to take to the escape road there, but somehow he kept it on the island. They were not giving any quarter at all. It's opened the door here for Jake Dennis, who of course is in attack mode. He's got a minute remaining, picks the pocket of the Mahindra. Now the Nissan is the next target. Side by side they go down into turn 7, and Dennis is through and into third position, and now here comes Mortara on Nato as well.
All this squabbling has allowed Pascal to run away at the front. He's gained 1 or 2 seconds from that battle.
Norman didn't need to fight that so hard with a car that's got, you know, basically a minute left of attack. If he'd just let Jake Dennis have that corner, he wouldn't have lost the place to Eduardo Mortara.
Reminder, of course, that Mortara does have that 5-second penalty in this race as well, so that will be served after the race has finished. So even if he finishes third on the road, if the field behind within 5 seconds, he'll of course drop down to wherever that may be. So he's going to need to hope that the field does spread out, but 5 seconds at the end of a Formula E race, especially here in Sao Paulo, because I think the biggest winning margin at this circuit is about 0.6 of a second or so, is a tall order.
Pepe Marti having a great race at the moment. He's up to P8. He also looked pretty good on the energy for the rookie. I'm quite impressed. He's quietly bedded himself into this race, just hanging out just on the fringes of the top 10, and now moving up to the top 8.
Yeah, let's see how it works out there for Pepe Marti. Dennis was trying to get the better of Pascal Wehrlein before his attack mode came to an end. Wasn't quite able to make it stick. Wehrlein now on the defensive against Dennis, who can't launch anything into turn 7.
Okay, you've got the best energy in the top 6. Objective here, at least P3. Okay, target top 3. Full energy opposites ahead. Pascal in the lead now, 30 seconds remaining. You're the only car in attack in a top 11.
So in terms of the remaining energy in this race, Albie, how do you see this one playing out? Wehrlein, Dennis, Mortara, they're all pretty even, Stevens. Maybe Nato a little bit down compared to the rest of the top 10. But what do you make of this so far with 13 laps left to go?
So the 2 cars at the back that definitely were saving a little bit more energy and had a later attack mode. Cassidy, Gunter, they're just coming through now on their attack, so looking for them to make some progress going up. But pretty even Stevens otherwise.
Yeah, Cassidy always likes to play a long game. The 2 Citroens you can see there lining astern in 13th and 14th place respectively. We know that Verne's gone for his first attack mode deployment. Cassidy now in it there as well, and the field's still relatively bunched up as they all start squabbling for position. You've got Marty here, meanwhile, who is side by side with Oliver Rowland, ducks to the outside line. The 2 Nissans now going toe to toe with one another, and contact there. Nato nearly goes into the wall at the expense of his teammate there, and now you've got Gunter Barnard as well as Sebastian Buemi, all fighting for position. Here comes Gunter on the inside of Oliver Rowland down into turn 7. He's got the inside line and he's got the place as well. He's through and into 7th.
And Nato's got a puncture, guys. Nato is out of this one in terms of fighting for the win. Big disappointment for him.
That's such a shame there for Norman Nato. It's been one of the strongest weekends that we've seen from him in recent memory for the Frenchman, and not what he'd have wanted, especially after contact with teammate Oliver Rowland down at that chicane. We spoke about it earlier on. We talked about how it bottlenecks up, and so it proved to be. Marty, meanwhile, is now up inside the top 7 in this race. So again, you called it absolutely right there, James. He's making a good ascension through the field. The Spaniard, in his first ever Formula E race, let's not forget, is looking pretty good so far.
Yep, and Nico Muller heads the field at the moment with just 10 seconds remaining of his first attack.
So there is Norman Nato in the pit lane, new tyre on the rear right of the car, a legacy of that contact he had with Oliver Rowland. I'd love to see another look at it. Let's work out what happened then for Norman Nato. Talk us through it here, guys.
It was just a bit of a pinch moment, wasn't it? I don't think he realised that he'd not given Ollie Rowland much room at all, and it's just nicked that rear right tyre, and that's the end of the game for Norman, unfortunately.
And look at how the seas opened, and seas parted rather, I should say, there for Taylor Barnard subsequently, sorry, for Max Günther there subsequently as well, and
there's only one line around that corner. I actually think Oliver Rowland can share the blame for that one, because he kept his nose in there and he could have lifted out. We saw it with Jake Dennis earlier on, we saw a few others. When they were in that position, they lifted off. They didn't allow them to get to that contact point. So even though it was his teammate, he was probably hoping for a bit more room. I think it was a bit of a 50-50 racing incident.
Albie was saying about watching Nick Cassidy. Look at that, he was 13th a lap or so ago. He's now up into 4th place, make that 3rd place. Look at this, he's coming through like a steam train. The line's going to be blocked here by Jake Dennis. And then you've got Pascal Wehrlein and Nico Muller as well, who are right up the sharp end in the two Porsches. The upshot is it's Dennis that now leads. Wehrlein's into 2nd. Cassidy's going the long way around the outside in 3rd in Citroen's debut race in the championship. Nico Muller in the 2nd of the Porsches is in 4th, with Da Costa sitting P5 at the moment.
And there's a yellow at turn 1, guys. Yellow at turn 1.
Yeah, it's Norman Nato who's come to a stop, clearly following that penalty. So that pit stop, I should say, rather. That if he can't get going again, that might bring out a safety car in this race if they can't get it going. We'll wait and see what happens then for this one. Let's have a look at Dan Ticktum's race. Burnout in the pit lane.
So we got to drive through for working on the car. I think not in mode 0. So box and drive through.
Guys, I'd rather just retire. What's the point?
We're to serve these things, not to serve them next race.
So Ticktum then retiring from this race. Disappointment there for the British driver as he jumps out of the car. Still got that yellow flag down at turn 1, according to our timing screen then here. And the car of Norman Nato has not yet moved, from what we can see on our driver tracker. Meanwhile, we come across the timing line then here. Look at this, Jake Dennis with now Nick Cassidy going side by side with the British driver. Yellow at turn 1 though, no overtaking into there. The drivers all bunching up as we go through. Where is Nato's car? It's on the exit. You can just see it there by the escape road. It's by the marshal's post, so they won't need to deploy a safety car, I don't think. They should just get away with yellow flags until that car is out of harm's way.
Yeah, but it did mean that Cassidy couldn't go for the overtake for the lead there. He had to back out of it because there was a yellow flag at turn 1. He could have taken the lead, but Nato's car prevented that from happening.
Yeah. Oh, look at that, getting really close with Edo Mortara and Joel Eriksson, who's having a good run of things as well. He's in attack mode here at the moment. Pretty much the outlier in this race. So everybody's now used one attack mode in this one. Eriksson, the only driver who's, of course, actively in it right now, but everybody else has got one more attack mode deployment remaining. There's a new regulation in place for Season 12 as well that says you don't have to use all of your attack mode before the end of the race. You just have to have deployed it, essentially.
So the biggest winner after the first round of attack modes absolutely is Nick Cassidy. Out front, Jake Dennis, Pascal Wehrlein in 3rd. But Nick Cassidy sitting in 2nd has made up so many places in this race because of the time that he took his first attack.
For may correct myself as well, De Vries actually does still have 2 attack modes remaining. He's down in 18th place though, and a fair old way off the rest of the field. So coming down in towards the first corner, this is going to be a very interesting race from this point onwards now, because they've all got pretty even levels of energy, but for Felipe Drugovich, especially inside the top 10, the field is so close together. Now we get Rowland going for his final attack mode deployment, so he's trying to make ground whilst the field is now concertinaed up with 9 laps remaining.
I was just wondering who's going to be the one to go first, and see Oliver Rowland take that 4-minute attack mode with only 9 laps remaining. It's a bold move.
He's picked off Günther, he's picked off Drugovich there as well. He'll get the better of him with traction on the exit of the corner. Next target, Joel Eriksson in the Envision here.
I think he's going to run out of this attack mode too early. I think that was a bit too early. I think 2 or 3 laps he needed to wait.
Well, that's the thing, it might leave him vulnerable at the end of it, exactly as you say.
Very vulnerable at the end.
But it depends on the res temperatures, guys. Let's not forget, if you've been running in dirty air for most of the race, your battery temperatures could be quite high. So he might be happy to take it this early.
Albie, what do you reckon to this race? How do you see this one playing out with 9 laps to go?
So I see it exactly as Sam sees it. It's been a full green race, no stoppages.
The temperature's right, so should we go?
Yeah, exactly what Ollie just asked his engineer. They should be going now. Use the energy now, get the track position, and then you're not going to have to worry as much about the battery stuff later.
Yeah, exactly right there, Albi, and that is exactly what Roland has sort of had his hand forced to do then, really. He gets the better of Antonio Felix da Costa. Yeah, Cassidy's going to come in for his final attack mode deployment in this one as well. Joel Eriksson also going through. Max Günther, Sebastian Buemi, they're all trying to get the better of them, and you've got the field spread by such a small margin. Just 6 seconds covers first down to 17th place, side by side then with Nick Cassidy against his former Jaguar. That is Antonio Felix da Costa, who he gets the better of for 4th position.
This is going to be super tight between the guys in the attack mode. I think they're going to be forced really into going the next lap. So it's going to be very interesting to see the decisions that the pit wall makes. The drivers are a little bit, at the mercy of their engineers at this point. The engineers really need to tell them when to take this next attack mode.
De Vries under investigation for an unsafe pit stop there as well, just to compound the Dutchman's woes. Meanwhile, Roland now goes through on Dennis for the lead as we run in towards turns 10 and 11. So Roland, well, he had to do that. No choice really but to make progress and try and now build a gap, because if he is going to end up vulnerable at the end of this race, let's not forget that Dennis and Verline still have one attack mode left. It's going to be interesting to see how it works out here for Ollie Roland.
But this was the best and the only solution for him to get his battery temperatures in check. If you're struggling, you need that clean air. The best way to do that, go lead the race.
Okay, Cassidy's gone now. A couple of cars now. Just keep cool, keep cool.
The 2 Porsches in attack mode then, likewise Antonio Felix da Costa as well. So they're all in their final deployments then here.
The problem is with Jake Dennis is where is he's weighted now? He can't take it on the next lap because everyone else in attack mode, so he won't be able to utilise the performance.
There's contact, and that's Mortara into the wall. That could bring a safety car out if you can't get the car going. And Mortara needs to get the car stopped because it very nearly got collected by about 3 or 4 drivers, all coming through. The yellow flag is out at turn 5 and 6, and that car's going nowhere anytime soon. That could bring a safety car out. If it does so, everybody who's in attack mode is going to be absolutely at a massive disadvantage now. Safety car's out.
This race is now for Jake Dennis. This is made for Jake Dennis. He will be thanking Edo Mortara and Drogovic, actually, his teammate, both Andretti's. Could we see an Andretti 1-2?
Is his birthday.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought for his birthday he'd get a safety car and have both of his cars within attack mode left for the restart?
Even people like Barnard, Evans, Jean-Eric Verne, they could be absolutely coming through at a rate of knots at the end of this race.
Albi also said watch out for Nick De Vries, but we know he's under investigation following that incident, the unsafe pit stop that we heard about, because obviously the safety car will bring the field back together if it's a long one.
I'm a bit surprised we haven't seen a penalty.
Hang on a sec.
Car stopped at the entry of turn 6. Please follow safety car through turn 4 and turn 6 sections. Thank you very much.
Well, from potential delight to bitter disappointment for Mahindra, both cars out of the running relatively in this race so far. De Vries right off the back of the field. Let's have a look at what happened here to Mortara. So he's got the Lola of De Grassi.
That was aggressive, to say the least.
Well, De Grassi already had a black and white flag for driving standards in that race as well. I think he might get the book thrown at him.
Oh, I mean,
let's have a look.
You have to leave room. You have to leave room for the other car. You can't just drive him into the wall like that.
Yeah, nowhere for Mortara to go. Nothing he could have done.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame really from Lucas to cause that.
Very good job from the rest of the field coming through to avoid it. Let's have another look at De Grassi then. So we're on board here with him, going into the right. He's a bit wide, goes into the left. He's full lock, but then opens the steering.
Yeah, that was the thing. If he'd stayed full lock, he would have got round the corner but not kept the position. But it looks like Lucas De Grassi is out of the race as well, which means that if he's going to get a penalty, it'll be for the next race in Mexico City.
I got sent into the wall by De Grassi. Man. It's always the same. Oh, what an idiot.
Well, Eduardo Mortara making his feelings perfectly clear. Albi, we're now under a safety car. We've got 7 laps, soon to be probably 6 remaining in this one. Give us your thoughts on how things are working out. What do you see happening from this point on?
So now with the safety car, the battery temperature issue just goes out the window. The batteries are cooling now, they're not running it hard at all, so that's out of the equation. So right now, it's just attack mode. Who's got attack modes left? Who's got the most energy? So it's, I do feel bad for the drivers that were on attack when the safety car came up, but that's just the way it is sometimes in FP.
So we may get some added laps into this one as well. If the safety car's out for more than 3 minutes 29 seconds, you get one added lap in the race. So we'll keep an eye on how things are going and wait to see whether race direction give us 1 or 2 added laps before the end of this one, originally scheduled for, of course, a 30-lap race distance. So drivers with one attack mode now remaining. You've got Jake Dennis, Felipe Drugovich. You've also then got a smattering of cars who will all be very close behind, including Pepe Marti, Taylor Barnard, Mitch Evans, Jean-Eric Verne there, as well as Zane Maloney. So there's lots of drivers outside the top 10 that could pick the pocket of some drivers that may be vulnerable at the end of this.
If this safety car continues, there might not be any additional laps, because if it goes into that final area of the race, the FIA say we can't add laps, because then we had a situation in season 7 in Valencia where they added laps and nobody had any energy to finish the race. So after that, now they've got this area at the end where they say, okay, we can't add the laps. It might be,
yeah, but that's if the safety car comes out late. The safety car came out
but
early,
if it goes,
it won't have that problem.
Yeah, but if it goes into that zone, is it not? Okay. I'm wrong then.
No, I think because it came out so early, there's enough energy. I know what you mean, Sam. If it comes out later on in the race, in the final part, then...
So you're saying if it was 2 laps
lap
before the end and that safety car came out, they wouldn't do the, or 3 laps before the end, where there was, even if it was over that 3.5 minute barrier.
Because the energy percentage in the battery is significantly high enough. Driving behind a safety car, you don't use much energy. It's if the safety car comes out when there's 2 or 3 laps remaining that we're not adding laps.
So De Vries has still got 2 attack mode deployments remaining of this one, and he's now right on the back of the field. He's got 8 minutes left in this. If he can get both deployments out of the way, if he can do 2 minutes for his first one and then 6 minutes for his second one, because now of course there's no regulation to say that you have to complete the attack mode at the end of this, could there be an opportunity here for Nick De Vries in the Mahindra to cycle right the way through the field?
There could be, but they're going to have so much energy. You've got to remember the other guys are also going to be running at a faster pace, even if they're in the 300 rear-wheel drive.
80% of the race is completed, so we are not adding any laps. It means that the targets are going to rise.
1-0 to Sam Bird,
so
then.
does anybody want to apologise to me or what?
I thought the safety car was coming in. No, it's a very, very good point. I mean, the fact that we've got now so far in, but normally, we're going to see a very fast pace going towards the end. So I don't think the guys are going to have that much of an advantage with the attack mode. I think Jake Dennis is really in the pound seat here. He's going to have to make it count. But when you go so fast, it's very difficult to overtake, and even when you've got the advantage with the extra traction, the four-wheel drive next to the corners, it's going to be a challenge for him to even get to the front, I think.
So it's now going to be a flat-out sprint from the second the safety car pulls in and the green flag flies until the checkered flag. Now, we're going to have 4 laps remaining of this one, and keep an eye out for Dennis and Drugovich. You'd imagine they're going to peel into the attack mode straight away.
I still fancy Dennis has got a very good chance.
We are coming back to the normal racing.
And as I said, Jake Dennis has got a great chance of winning this race with the fact that everybody that is racing around him doesn't have any attacks remaining. The next one is his teammate Felipe Drugovich. It's been a great race so far at the front of the pack. Let's see what they've got for these remaining 4 or 5 laps.
Could we get an Andretti 1-2 in this race? Last race that Jake Dennis won, by the way, Diriyah 2024, so over 18 months ago. Safety car then in at the end of this lap. There's Norman Nato, who will be bitterly disappointed after such promise from himself, from the team and from his pace this weekend. Time to reset and go again for Mexico at the beginning of January. You can see Google Gemini reckons that Nick Cassidy's got a 32% chance of winning this race. Cassidy at the moment 2nd position on the road. Now Roland becomes the pace setter in this one. It's up to him when he pulls the pin and takes off for the rest of the field. He can't overtake though until you come across the start-finish line. So Roland is just backing the pack up as we come in towards turn 10. Now he hits the loud pedal and now we go racing through the final corner and across the timing line. 4 laps to go as we begin lap 27 of action here at Sao Paulo. The race resumes. Oliver Rowland across the timing line, followed by Nick Cassidy, followed by Jake Dennis, and just to remind you, both Andretti's with 1 attack mode deployment remaining and just 4 laps in this race. So you would imagine they are surely going to be going for it straight away.
And I think Jake Dennis is going to take it now. Yes, he does. So Jake Dennis enters attack, gets all the loops, and he's through.
Drugovich missed it though, did he? No, he didn't. No, he got it through. He hit the loops.
When we are out of attack as well, and then the next 5 cars behind them, still 4 minutes remaining.
So surely this is now Andretti's race to lose. 20% more energy, they're absolutely fine. No problems at all in terms of the energy. It's just a case of if they can cycle their way through. Of course, we know that Dennis has now only got 3 targets in front of him, whereas Drugovic has got 8. So more ground for him to make. Disposes of 1, does Jake Dennis. He's through on Pascal Wehrlein on the run into turn 7.
We know it's 2 seconds a lap advantage at the moment for Jake Dennis, so he should be able to comfortably get himself into the lead of this race. The big question mark is Felipe Drugovic. Can he carve his way through the field and give Roger Griffiths the best birthday present ever?
Yeah, it would be a very welcome result indeed, wouldn't it? De Vries, meanwhile, has gone for that 2-6 attack mode strategy. His hand was kind of forced there, really had no choice. Meanwhile, out of the final corner, double yellow down at turn 10. We can see there's Mitch Evans in some bother, according to our driver tracker. No added laps, but is there going to be another twist in the tail and possibly another safety car as we see Jake Dennis taking advantage of the attack mode and going through. Sorry, that's Drugovic, I beg your pardon. He's going through on Nico Müller for 6th place, and there is Mitch Evans, the double winner of this Sao Paulo ePrix, who looks to be out of this race. It's going to be another safety car, isn't it? And that means that everybody else who's in their final attack mode deployment won't be able to use it. We may have this race coming to a conclusion under a safety car. The upshot is, though, Dennis is now in front of Oliver Rowland. He had to make that ground, and Drugovic has got to really get a move on here if there's a safety car going to be called very soon.
We will go full course yellow. 3, 2, 1, full course yellow, please.
So full course yellow, not a safety car. Evans got clattered into by the Envision of Sebastian Buemi. So on the left-hand side of your picture there is the DS Penske of Taylor Barnard. Gets the better of him. And we've got a red flag, actually, according to our timing screen now as well. So the race has been suspended, and this is him going for the move on the outside. Exactly what Sam Bird did to Mitch Evans here a couple of years ago. Unfortunately for Evans, he ends up in the barrier. Red flag is out then. Oh, that's absolutely huge. Pepe Marti.
Oh my God, thank God he's out of the car. See,
the car's on fire as well. The front axle's on fire under red flag conditions.
What has happened there?
The car is absolutely destroyed. Pepe Marti out of this race. The red flag is thrown, and we've done 75% race distance, so they may very well call that a result, because that is an enormous accident for Pepe Marti. A miracle of miracles. He's up and out of the car and on his feet and okay, but what on earth went wrong for the Spaniard there?
Thank God he's out of the car and okay. That's a huge relief.
That is bitterly disappointing as well for the Cooper Kiro team. A retirement there for Dan Tickton.
Great day for us. Great day for us. What start to the year, eh?
I think that's going to be the end of the race.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Let's see. Let's not jump the gun here. I think that hopefully the fire marshals can get there and attend to the front end of that car, and
he's there with the fire extinguisher as well.
I mean, look.
Let's have a look. Right, let's see what happened here to Pepe Marti, because that looks like an aeroplane accident, really, at this point, doesn't it? So we're on board with him. Are they all just going to check up or something? Yeah, they are. So the full course yellow, he just got caught out by it. So everybody else slowed down with the full course yellow. And Marti, did he go upside down there? Oh, he did! Rolled the car over. That is absolutely enormous from Pepe Marti, and just goes to show a testament of the safety of these Gen 3 Evo Formula E cars. 2 races here in 2 years and 2 absolutely enormous accidents.
He's new to Formula E. He wouldn't have experienced a full course yellow before, and it's absolutely caught him out there.
The 2 guys in front blocking the track and braking, I mean, that was a bit unnecessary, but thank God he's okay. And as I said, the safety of these cars is so good these days. And, you know...
But if it's full course yellow, James, that's what you break down to your full course yellow speed.
Sure, but it came out safety car. I agree. It's a safety car, but yeah.
Can I have my water? I don't think we could have done much more than that, mate. It was pretty mega.
So we're still waiting for confirmation at this point as to whether the race will be restarted. At the moment, we're under a red flag with 3 laps remaining.
So now that we know that Pepe's okay, I feel very sorry for Felipe Drugovic, actually, in his home race, because he still had attack mode. Obviously, with the red flag, that's now gone. But that could very well have been a podium for him on his day.
Well, it could have been a 1-2 for Andretti, the way that it was going. But what a day for Andretti so far. If this race continues, though, you've got a very nerve-wracking 3 laps to the finish.
Yeah, we are hearing that there is a possibility of a 2-lap shootout at the end of this race. I mean,
I really hope
that would really spice it up, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it would be very exciting. I think, you know, we were already in for a bit of a flat-out end to the race, but I think a 2-lap shootout would be great. I mean, the number of positions gained by Rowland, Cassidy, Drugovic, I mean, 11 positions up, 12 positions up, 13 positions up. It's just a testament to how good the racing is here in Formula E.
Yeah, well, drama there for Mitch Evans, who, of course, technically began what sort of unfolded there, really. That full course yellow that was deployed caused that chain reaction of events, and the upshot is that Evans ended up out of the race. Let's have another look at Pepe Marti. So everybody else is checked up in front. They're in the full course yellow, slowing down to their speed. Marti just takes off like a ramp, basically, over the cars in front, flips over, and you can see the car coming to a rest in the middle of the circuit. The front wheel's going to come underneath the front nose cone there. And thank goodness for the safety of modern Formula E cars, because that was very, very frightening indeed. Let's have another look at it. This will be a properly scary view of the incident here. Full course yellow, you can see on the top right there. And wait for Pepe Marti to just come careering into the back of two cars. Nico Müller just directly in front of him, takes evasive action. We're just going to miss the end of it, aren't we? Or the beginning of it. Look at that. So it was Da Costa who he clattered into the back of, wasn't it, in the other of the Jaguars. So both of those cars in the wars here.
Yeah, and the thing is, with Da Costa's car that heavily damaged, he would have probably had to go back into the garage to get that car serviced if there is a restart, which would mean he would have to start from the back of the grid, which is a massive shame for him.
And he'll be praying that the race doesn't get restarted. Look at this.
Absolutely, because at the moment he's in P6. He'll be praying that it's finished. Just so happy to see Pepe Marti get out the car, but that car is a write-off now. That would be, I mean, that's as good as done. Put it in the skip.
Huge amount of energy going through that incident there. Let's have another look at Nico Müller. So it was Marti, of course, avoiding Müller, clatters into the back of him, and then, oh goodness me, it just so frightening.
Yeah, there's an investigation into what happened there, not unsurprisingly, really, between Marti, Da Costa and Müller from the FIA. I think they're going to need to understand who braked, if anyone braked too early or too late.
We'll have another look.
You can see there on the steering wheel, he's got his warning. So this is the moment where he's got the warning for the full course yellow, and he's braked at that moment. It's just the other two have slowed down in front. So perhaps they received radio messages before. It would be really interesting to know if there's any radio transmission between the teams.
I hate to say it, but Pepe Marti, as I said, he hasn't done a full course yellow procedure before.
You could see when his lights came on, he was going way faster than the cars in front. I mean, we need to have a bit more detail before we place the blame on anybody in that one. But you know, thank God the drivers are okay and nobody's been injured.
Dragovic was also in the wars on that restart as well. You can see front wing damage on his Andretti Porter. Sorry, beg your pardon, that's Jake Dennis's car, so that's not in a showroom condition either. And again,
I'm impressed he's setting the car. He's got plenty of time to jump out because there's a 10-minute restart procedure. So, yeah, maybe he feels more comfortable to sit in the car and keep himself in the frame of mind. It seems though he's the one in the lead of this race. But some of the other drivers, we saw earlier, Jean-Eric Verne, here he is, out of the car having a little chat.
Talking to team principal Cyril Blaze down there as well. Citroën, possibly, at the moment, on for a podium in their first ever race in Formula E. Verne is down in 10th position, so it would be a double points finish for that team. Verline at the moment sitting in 5th position, so that will be a restarted order if the race does get back underway.
A short announcement. We are checking the situation, what we will do. At the end there is no decision taken, but just to give a heads up, everyone who is requested by scrutineers to do the reparations inside the garage, please follow the instructions. Thank you very much.
So to expand on that, the FIA are allowed to walk up and down the pit lane and see if your car is in a safe condition to race. If you've got a loose front wing, rear wing in the case of Da Costa, something like that, they can force the car to be put into the garage and then have it worked on and fixed to a good enough standard where the FIA are happy for it to then be released. Now, the order is dependent upon the moment where your car is released and put back in the pit lane will define the starting order of the restart. So if you do have some damage, it's in your interest to get that work done as quickly as possible and to make sure that you're the first one back into the pit lane.
But you will be starting, as if you get it done quickly, you'll be the first one at the back.
Agreed.
Yeah, so
it's definitely a bad situation,
It's
Sam,
a
you're
bad
right,
situation. Da Costa will be praying that this race is done and dusted, that's for sure, because right now he's coming away with 8 points. I think if he has to go in the garage, it will be a no-pointer to start his Jaguar career.
Yeah, it's Da Costa, Müller, I'm sure the two that are the ones that are going to be pulled into the pit lane. So if there is a restart, they're the ones who are going to carry the heaviest penalty. Great for Barnard, if that did happen. I do think that I mean, I would love to see a 2 laps shootout.
That'd be chaos, wouldn't it? I mean, as if this race hasn't had enough action, we'd get 2 laps of a sprint from start to finish. As you can see, Mitch Evans' car now being recovered down at turn 10 following the contact he had with Sebastian Buemi. Let's have a look at Nick Cassidy then here as well. So, Cassidy here pointing to Felipe Drugovich there. So basically saying that Drugovich overtook him under yellow and Cassidy just going back through so that Drugovich didn't actually get a penalty.
I do think that a few of the drivers were given the radio instruction, because it was a long time from when Mitch Evans hit the wall to when the safety car was deployed, and I'm sure a few of the drivers were made aware that it was going to go to the safety car, because it had to, or to a full course yellow. So yeah, maybe as Sam pointed out, maybe for the rookies, you know, Felipe and Pepe, it's a new situation, and maybe the teams didn't communicate as well, or maybe the drivers are just not quite as aware of everything that's going on in the championship.
Just having a notice coming through that De Vries has got a drive-through penalty as well. Mechanics working on the car in an unsafe manner. So
this is the same thing as basically what you have to do. You have to put the car into neutral when you're in the pit lane. Now that neutral, there's a light on the top of the car on the roll hoop that is on when the car is in drive mode and off when it's in neutral. So it's very easy for the scrutineers, for the FIA, to check on that and see if the car was in a safe condition whilst it was being worked on.
Let's have a look at Nico Müller then. So again, hang on a second.
Well, Antonio was braking earlier than expected with the countdown. So I went to the left to have a bit of margin. He was on the right. I braked into full course yellow, and even before the countdown was on 0, I got hit from behind, with way too much speed.
So Muller's argument there basically is that Antonio checked up on the brakes and then he had to take evasive action for that. Marty, of course, then, as we know, clattered into the pair of them.
Yeah, I think, you know, I mean, you could see that if there was no space, Muller would also have gone into the back of the Costa. So yeah, that was a dangerous situation.
We will try to resume the race at 15:01 local time. The grid will be shortly presented on the screens.
So Marek Aniszewski, race director, then saying that their plan is to resume the race 15:01 local time. So that is 6 minutes away.
Is Jean-Eric Vergne going to get his helmet on and get back in his car?
One would
That's a
hope
big
so.
question.
So that's bitterly disappointing then for Antonio Felix da Costa in particular, because of course he's now out of the running here. Let's go down to Albie before we get this race back underway. What have you got for us, Albie?
So from my side, given that we've not added any extra laps because we're sort of past that threshold, the energy levels in the cars are going to be pretty high. So everybody's going to be flat out from the restart. And as they're not saving energy and not doing any lifting coast, whatever the restart order is, it may actually end up like that. I mean, as much as James wants to have a shootout last 2 laps, I don't think the overtaking is going to be as much as normal.
Well, we'll remain optimistic, shall we, Albie, after that one. We'll wait and see what happens. So Da Costa, look at the tyre marks on the back of the car there. The car's in the pit lane, though. Crucially,
Yeah,
it's not in the garage.
He hasn't gone in the garage, so for whatever reason, that car is deemed in a safe condition. I thought that maybe the rear wing would have been gone, they'd be asking to change bodywork, but no. It looks like
okay.
Da Costa's actually survived that.
I mean, that's a bit of a miracle.
Must have gone over the wheel or something along the lines of that. Whilst we wait for confirmation about the restart of this race, let's go down and talk to Roger Griffiths as well. We can just see on our timing screen that Da Costa has been in for repairs, so he'll be starting at the back, I believe.
So he's been repaired and they put him back in front of the garage.
Right.
So yes, he will be starting 14th and last in the lineup with the starting order.
Right, okay. Anyway, let's work that all out whilst we take a breather and chat to Roger Griffiths. It's his birthday. At the moment, his racing drivers, Jake Dennis and Felipe Drugovich, are 1st and 5th as it stands, with a 2-lap shootout to the checkered flag. What does he make of this one? He's down talking to Alexa.
Roger Griffiths, well, Jake Dennis leading. Felipe has just charged through the field. How is Jake going to keep Ollie behind if this race restarts?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I'm pretty certain he's going to make the car as wide as possible. At this point, We don't know if it's going to restart, and if it does restart, we don't know if it's going to be a standing start or a safety car start. I mean, I think our recommendation would be a safety car restart at this point. We've already had one severely damaged, if not written off, race car today. We potentially don't need any more. You know, super happy to see Marty walk out of the car, and you know, real proof to the structure of this Spark car. I mean, it's really survived a couple of really big accidents here in Brazil, and you know, the fact that drivers can walk away is very happy to see. But yeah, going back to your question, I mean, yeah, we got to do what we can. I think we had a little bit of an energy advantage over Oliver, but you know, Jake's got to get his elbows out. We hopefully will fight cleanly to the end, and then let's see what we can do.
Good luck, Roger.
Thanks.
Thanks to Roger. Yeah, it's a case of, well, just waiting to see what happens there for him. So in terms of the starting order for this race, it now basically counts back to the previous sector. So it will be Dennis Oil who will start this one at the head of the field, followed by Oliver Rowland, followed by Nick Cassidy, Verline, and then Felipe Drugovich inside the top 5. Another look at the incident here which brought out the red flag. So you can see Pepe Marti, the full course yellow, emblazoning his steering wheel. He slams on the anchors, catapults firstly over Muller, then secondly over to Costa. So it does take the wing off here. So they've done clearly some fast repairs to that car, haven't they?
Yeah, they put a new rear wing on that car, and that's why Antonio's going to line up 14th and last of the runners at this restart. But yeah, swift work by the Jaguar team there to replace this rear wing.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So Felipe Drugovich, well, penny for the thoughts of him at the moment. I imagine his nerves will be shot to bits, but they're all getting ready to line up in the pit lane to head out onto the circuit for a 2-lap shootout to the checkered flag. What about Nick Cassidy? I mean, energy's not now important to the end of this race. It is basically, as soon as we go green flag racing, flat out from then until the checkered, right?
Nick Cassidy's his skill level is so good at getting these kind of inflection races absolutely spot on. If he starts towards the back, he's able to read the race so well, get enough energy in the bank and then surge forwards. It's very difficult to overtake Nick Cassidy, but he's ruthless at overtaking.
Oh, good news is that Vern has put the espresso down. He's jumped back into the car and he's ready to go racing. He'll be starting this one from
11th place.
Yeah,
the feisty Frenchman.
Yeah, and Feisty's going to have to be from there to get himself into the points. He's got Sebastian Buemi and Joel Eriksson, the two Envisions, directly in front of him.
Looks like he's being pushed back into the box. Maybe there's some damage on his car, or that's a strange decision there. But, oh, mind you, if he's starting 11th, if he goes in the box and they do have to change something, he can, if they change tyres or something like that, he can start 14th, so not too much of a penalty from
No, that's a good point. Do you know, whatever happens here, we're going to have the fewest number of finishers ever at a Sao Paulo ePrix. The previous lowest was 15. That was last year. We've only got 14 starting this one.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Well, 3 of them were almost removed in one go.
Quite.
So, yeah.
Well,
it's been an exciting one so far.
It has been. Yeah, let's hope that these 14 do actually end up finishing this race there as well. You can see Taylor Barnard with some repairs ongoing. So.
Well, that's not good news, because Taylor's going to have to rejoin at the back behind Antonio Felix da Costa if he's got some repairs going.
So the order that we've been given is not necessarily the order that it's going to be, with multiple people actually in the pits at the moment.
So here's how this is working out. So the safety car is now out. It's going to lead the field around.
Now we'll have the order.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll figure it all out from this point on. But the upshot is Dennis is going to be first, Rowland is going to be second, then Cassidy, then Verline. We'll wait for them all to peel through. But there's some teams, as you say, taking advantage of what's going on there and doing those fast repairs because everybody else in front is doing the same.
Well, Nico Müller hasn't had any repairs to his car, which I find a bit of a miracle given the fact that he was heavily involved in that incident. So hopefully his car will hold up for this 2-lap sprint.
Yeah, so here we go then, lap 29 out of 30. We're now under safety car conditions in this race, and it's going to be a 1-lap shootout then to the checkered flag, isn't it?
Absolutely. So who wants to win the Brazilian ePrix? Right now it's advantage Jake Dennis.
Yeah, so to avoid any confusion, as soon as the safety car peels out of the pit lane, the field follows it. The race is now technically back underway. We're just under a safety car. Safety car will peel in at the end of this lap. It will be a rolling start then, therefore, and there's 2.9 kilometres, 1 lap to go until the checkered flag. At the moment, it's Dennis, Rowland and Cassidy, your podium.
Yeah, exciting. I don't know if it's going to be like that in 1 lap or 2 laps, Tom, but we're definitely going to be in for a good show.
I think we're going to be on for some big sends into some chicanes, possibly some final corners as well, taking a leaf out of a certain Mr. Bird's book. We'll wait and see how that all plays out, but Roger Griffiths keeping his game face on. And Tommaso Volpe, maybe a little bit less so. Sitting there in second place is the reigning world champion, Oliver Rowland. Of course, one of his cars of Norman Nato having been removed from this one following some contact. And some pensive, nervous faces there down in the Andretti garage. So, the safety car's peeled in and Jake Dennis has bolted already. We come around turns 10 and 11 to start the final lap of racing and get the restart underway here in Sao Paulo. Dennis will lead the field across the line, followed by Rowland, followed by Casti. 1 lap to go to crown our winner of the Sao Paulo ePrix, and Dennis is going for broke. Look at the gap, he's already trying to pull out on Oliver Rowland and Nick Casti and the remaining field.
Yeah, great restart from him. He really went early. Question is, they've got to take a flat-out lap. They haven't done this since qualifying, so big pressure on the guys not to outbrake themselves and to get a clean lap here.
Yeah, let's see whether we get any big sends in towards that chicane. Keep an eye out for Pascal Wehrlein in 4th place. He'll be ruining a missed opportunity here, possibly as well, missing out on the podium. De Vries has got in that final attack mode, so can he make a good ascension through the field on the last lap of action? Through into the chicane we go. Dennis looks comfortable. He had a second or so in his pocket across the sector times last time around, but nobody was close enough to lunge up the inside into 4.
Yeah, it does look like it's spread out a little bit here, Tom. I think it's going to be quite difficult for anyone to make a move, but what a great race we've seen, and what amazing racecraft from Rowland to get all the way up to second place after that disastrous qualifying.
Absolutely. Well, just 2 more corners to go for Jake Dennis, and what a birthday present this is going to be for Roger Griffiths, for the Andretti team. Jake Dennis hasn't won a race since Diriyah back in 2024, but now for the first time in season 12 he will stand on the top step of the podium as Jake Dennis wins the Sao Paulo ePrix ahead of Oliver Rowland and Nick Casti on the podium for Citroën in their first race in the Formula E World Championship, ahead of Pascal Wehrlein and Felipe Drugovich. A double top 5 finish for the Andretti team as the crowd in Sao Paulo celebrate that one.
Wehrlein's got Cassidy, guys. Wehrlein got Cassidy.
He did, right at the end of that one. So it's just updated on our timing screen, or did he? No, it's just turned back round. So Cassidy did finish in 3rd place ahead of Pascal Wehrlein. So Cassidy in 3rd, Wehrlein in 4th, Drugovich in 5th, Muller 6th, Gunther 7th, Joel Eriksson is in 8th on his full-time debut.
Yes! Oh, yes, boys! Oh my God, yes!
It's been a long time coming for Jake Dennis, hasn't it? I mean, if you look back to the seasons since his title win back in season 9, it's not been particularly brilliant in terms of the results. They've been sporadic and they've been inconsistent, but now that's a great job from the Briton. James, let's go and talk to him.
Jake, it's James in the commentary box. What an amazing race. Did you think you could hold that one together after the first few laps?
I mean, it's always going to be difficult. I wasn't too sure how it was going to play after that red flag, but I'm so stoked, honestly. It's been a challenge for me to win these races. I finished second so many times, and to finally get the dub is a credit to the team and our off-season work. So, yeah, so happy.
Yeah, stunning performance. Congratulations on the victory.
Great job from Jake Dennis. He becomes the first driver to start from pole position and win the ePrix here in Sao Paulo. When he kept his nerve and kept his calm on that final lap when it would have been very easy to lose it. Oliver Rowland, the reigning world champion, finishes in P2 and Nick Casti completes the podium. So 3 different manufacturers of powertrains in the top 3.
Well done, mate. Check for flag, P2.
Goodness me, what a race we've had here in Sao Paulo. Jake Dennis taking his first win in nearly 2 years. Last time he won was February 2024 in Diriyah. That was back in season 10. Long time coming for the British driver. Spoke to him down on the grid and he said, I've got no idea what's going to happen. I said, what's the plan, what's the strategy? He said, we're just going to have to sit there, keep our nerves calm, try and get some clean air to make sure the battery temperatures don't rise too high. Eventually that didn't prove to be a factor in this race, but the upshot is he was in the right place at the right time and drove a superb race.
He played it perfectly, to be honest. He led the early stages of the race and then settled in into about third, fourth, didn't really drop below 6th or 7th place for the whole race. The engineer kept him calm, said don't worry about the people around you, we trust in our strategy, and it absolutely played out. Absolutely brilliant as well from Oliver Rowland. You know, he was told, right, we've got battery temperature issues, we need to get to the front now in this attack. That's what he did, and everything played out very nicely for the Nissan driver.
I don't want to speak too soon here, as you see Felipe Drugovich being congratulated by the Andretti team. However, the winner of the opening round of Formula E in the past 3 out of 5 seasons has gone on to win the title. So,
well, I mean, that was a champion on champion's form of driving right there. That was an absolute masterclass from Jake Dennis.
PIF driver of the race is voted by Nick Cassidy, and let's not forget, for this race, Nick Cassidy started down in 15th on the grid. A really tricky time after qualifying. I was down talking to Alexa, who had interviewed him, and said, yeah, he was pretty cheesed off, he's putting it mildly, after problems with brakes in qualifying, and come the race, it's all come good for the Kiwi.
I mean, he won the last 3 races of last year, so he knows exactly what to do in these races. And yes, he had a bad qualifying, but here in Sao Paulo, it's a bit of a different dynamic to the race, and good opportunities to overtake, and great execution from Nick. You know, he waited quite a long time to take his attack mode and really made it count when it mattered.
Let's have a listen in here.
It wasn't you, it was more Drugovich. Yes. Because they said he was 8th, and you were always going to get it. I thought at least if he loses a bit more, he might not get it.
So they were speaking about Drugovich there, with the amount of attack mode he had left. Roland was just saying to Dennis, I wasn't worried about you, you were always going to get me. My concern was losing second to Felipe Drugovich.
Yeah, well, kept his nerve calm at the end of that race. Just seeing on our screen, Jean-Eric Verne and Felipe Drugovich under investigation for overspeeding under a full course yellow. Is there another twist in the tail post this incident, post this race then here?
That's normally a clear decision, so I really hope for Felipe after his great race and his first one for Andretti with a good solid performance in his home race. I hope that doesn't move him further down the field.
Our race winner here in Sao Paulo, Jake Dennis. You're the first ever driver.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You can see the Sao Paulo skyline again looking resplendent in the sunshine. It was a hot race, and I mean, it's been baking all day here in Sao Paulo, all weekend as a matter of fact. But I tell you what, keeping you calm and your nerves in a race like that was certainly a fantastic demonstration of the quality of driving we see in Formula E.
It was a challenge for me here to keep my nerves. How about you, Sam?
My nerves are shredded, to be honest, James.
Is it calmer in the car?
I much prefer it in the car, guys. But what a race that those 20 drivers put on for us today. I mean, great entertainment.
Fantastic, and if that's just half as good as what we should expect for the rest of the season, we're in for an absolute treat here for season 12 of the ABB Formula E World Championship. Jake Dennis is victorious then here in Sao Paulo. A very challenging race, but a very controlled, commanding drive from the Briton. His first win since Diriyah 2024, and a very well-deserved victory for that one. The first ever driver to have started on pole position to go on and win the race here in Brazil. And I'm sure he'll be maybe looking to rearrange his flight and move it over to tomorrow afternoon or something to go and celebrate with his team. Let's catch up, though, with our winner.
Our race winner here in Sao Paulo, Jake Dennis. You're the first ever driver to win from pole here in Sao Paulo. How did you break the curse?
Just good strategy, good race car, and good track positioning when we needed to. That first attack was crucial when we took it, and yeah, it was. It looked like it was ours, you know, comfortably in the lead just before that red flag, and then I wasn't too sure how it was going to play out, but so happy. I didn't get a win last season, and to get it back on the first race is a testament to the off-season work. And yeah, it's the big boss's birthday, so happy birthday to him. And it's my engineer's birthday tomorrow, so double whammy. I don't have to get them a present now.
His presents all around there. You won the first race of your championship winning season. It's a stat throughout Formula E. How does it set you up for season 12?
I'm just happy to be winning races, to be honest. Whether we win the championship or not is so far away until London, but yeah, it's just a massive relief after, you know, it's been a tough couple of times since season 9 becoming world champion, and to get my win back is good.
Jake Dennis, congratulations.
Yeah, great job from Jake Dennis to take the victory. Oliver Rowland, though, finished P2. That's his first podium since Tokyo in season 11. Long time coming for the boy from Barnsley. The reigning world champion finished P2, and he was down talking to Alexa.
In second place here at round 1 of the season, Oliver Rowland, our reigning drivers' world champion, kicking it off with a podium. Are you pleased with that?
Yeah, very pleased. I mean, especially after this morning, obviously we didn't have the best qualifying and we brought 3-place grid penalty from London.
Yeah.
So I think to get second is a great result. We got a bit lucky today with certain safety cars and full course yellows during the attack mode for the others. But yeah, delighted with the result, and I'll take the points.
I mean, consistency is key in this championship. You know it all too well. How important do you think these points can be so early on in the season?
Yeah, they're going to be very important. I think it's going to be extremely close this year. So yeah, any points you can get, the better. And it's 18 more than I got here last year, so it's a better start.
That's a very good start. Congratulations, Ollie.
Thank you.
Promising start then for Oliver Rowland, P2 for the Nissan team. And of course, it's 3 manufacturers in terms of powertrains on the podium here in Sao Paulo, with Nick Cassidy finishing in 3rd position for Citroën on that team's debut. Let's go down and catch up with the Kiwi.
And in 3rd place, we have Nick Cassidy. Nick, new team, new powertrain, and kicking it all off with a podium. Tell us your thoughts.
Yes, it's awesome for everyone at Citroën Racing. It's been a big off season, and it was not an easy day with qualifying, not really going to plan. So, yeah, very, very happy for everyone to start this way with a podium. Honestly, points-wise, more than we could have expected, and really, really happy.
I mean, you started 15th and finished 3rd. How did you manage that?
Just a great strategy from the team. The communication was very good. Their plan was very good. A lot of information before the race, and I think we kind of executed more or less what we said. So it was very good.
And what an incredible debut for Citroën as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, amazing to have Citroën in Formula E, right? And to start with Citroën like this is fantastic.
Well, congratulations, Nick Cassidy.
Thank you.
Well, P3 for Nick Cassidy. He'll be absolutely delighted with that one. Citroën will be overcome with joy as well. And actually, my niece will be very happy. She's a huge Nick Cassidy fan. So to see him on the podium for the 3rd successive race is something for them all to smile about. Fantastic job from everybody on the grid, and now they make their way off to the podium.
I said on the intercom, but that's how you restart.
Let's have a listen into what's going on down here.
That nearly tipped over that fucking engine.
Excuse some of the language, by the way. Of course, emotions running a bit high following that race.
Yeah, but I was on lap 3 of the race, I had a power cut here.
Oh, really?
All race, I was shitting myself.
Ah, yeah.
So then I was like, if I go early, I might stand a chance.
Yeah, we're going to have to cut away from that. Apologies again, drivers, as we said, overcome with emotion following the exciting Sao Paulo ePrix. Right then, what a fantastic way to kick off season 12 here in Sao Paulo. We've got to debrief it all, we've got to unpack it all. Let's go down to Nikki and the team on the ground.
Thank you very much, Tom. Yeah, it was a curtain raiser that absolutely had it all and certainly got my heart rate up high. I mean, wow, 6 driver retirements in that. It was wheel-to-wheel racing, packed full of incidents. I mean, you can see the debris still basically coming off Pepe Marti's car there. I mean, a huge, huge moment. But before we go into the analysis there, we have to talk about our podium finishes. I mean, Jake Dennis played that race perfectly. You know, he stayed out in front, he had the cool air, and he didn't really have to fight his way through the field, unlike Oliver Rowland and Nick Cassidy. Okay, maybe a little bit of strategy played to his strengths, but he just played it perfectly.
He did. He was controlling the race from the front. It was a very different tactic from the back. Obviously, Oliver went in for his attack moves very early, and the second one as well. He said on the team radio that it was a battery limitation. He had to go in because his battery was too hot and he needed to get to the front to get clean air. Jake had the opposite. He'd been at the front and he'd only dropped back to, I think, P6, and he was just sitting there saving some energy. And then, of course, when we saw the later yellow flags, he was lucky that he wasn't in attack mode like a lot of drivers in that mid-pack section got caught out. He then was able to pass to the front just in time before the second yellow flag, which obviously caught Dragovic out. Otherwise, I think we could have seen a double podium for Andretti.
Yeah, I know, so close. I mean, what a turnaround for Felipe Dragovic there. I mean, again, in front of his home crowd. And Oliver Rowland, you know, our defending champion, who had qualified down in P13. He really had everything to prove today, but just shows that he can be back to podium winning ways, and he's a world champion at the end of the day, and that was the drive of a champion.
Yeah, 18 points for him. That's more than the last few races of his season put together last year. So he'll be happy with those points to start the championship, especially with the 3-place grid penalty he also started this race with. But it was a very aggressive strategy for him. His second attack he actually took very early, and he was limited by the battery temperature. So we were sort of saying in the commentary box, is it too early? Is he going to get caught out? But obviously the yellow flags played to his favour as well towards the end.
And then Nick Cassidy, you know, this is again, it's a new team for him. He wants to impress. A brilliant start for his new home.
A huge start for Citroën. I mean, they're racing giants. They win everything they throw a car at. So I'm sure that he's going to be really happy. And it's his 4th consecutive podium in Formula E across lots of different races. So I think, yeah, he will be a very happy Kiwi.
Sam, let's bring you in. Have you got over that race? I mean, what a baptism of fire to commentate on that one. It was non-stop, but we loved all the analysis. Thank you for helping us through, because it did get really complicated at times. But what's your take home from it?
I mean, another brilliant example of why Formula E is the best watch of any motorsport series on the planet, wasn't it? It was just absolutely brilliant. Jake Dennis, though, he bossed it, didn't he? I think that they got the strategy absolutely perfect. Oliver Rowland was there when it mattered, got it right for the battery temperature, rode his luck a little bit at times, but did a champion's drive to bring it home in P2. And Nick Cassidy doing Nick Cassidy things, super hard racer, great with these inflection races, knows when to go.
Excellent stuff. But, well, before we get into all of our analysis, it is time for some podium celebrations. Tom Brooks, over to you.
Welcome everyone to the
time then for the podium celebrations to begin here for the 2025 Google Cloud Sao Paulo E3. Our top 3 drivers will be making their way onto the rostrum, of course, with the winning team representative from Andretti.
Let's begin the celebrations.
So time for the celebrations then to begin in front of the adoring crowd. Up to 80,000 people expected here today for the race.
Formula E is Sean McGill, race
and Sean McGill, race engineer for Jake Dennis, gets his day quite literally in the sunshine and makes his way on to the podium for the first time for Andretti since January 2024, when his driver Dennis won in Diriyah. Jeff Dodds, CEO, as well as co-founder of the championship, Alejandro Agag on there. And Sean McGill soaking it up for all it's worth as well. Nick Cassidy, P3 for the Kiwi. Well, what more can we say about him? He's just been in superlative form. It's from the second half of season 11, really, ever since he scored more points than anybody else from Shanghai onwards. And he continues that strong run with a different team, a different power unit. And here in Sao Paulo, he is in 3rd position. And looks absolutely delighted with that, no surprise at all.
Next, in 2nd place from Nissan Formula E team is Oliver Rowland.
2nd place for Ollie Rowland here in Sao Paulo. Great start to his season 12 campaign. It's been a good time for him in that machine, and you can see he seems pretty happy with that one, especially given the struggles that he also shared in qualifying down in 13th on the grid. Cassidy was 15th, Ollie Rowland was 13th. The only man who started inside the top 10 was your eventual race winner, this man, Jake Dennis.
Formula E is Jake Dennis.
Jake Dennis onto the top step of the podium then here in Sao Paulo. Absolute delight for himself and for the Andretti team. Dennis' 7th win in his Formula E career. His first in nearly 2 years. This is also his 24th podium as well. Jake Dennis stands on the top step of the rostrum then here. Now time for the national anthems.
And now the national anthem of the winning driver from the United Kingdom.
God Save the King plays out for Jake Dennis here in Sao Paulo. Now time for the national anthem of the United States in honour of the Andretti Formula E team, the winning team here in Brazil. The national anthem of the United States of America plays out for the Andretti team, the winning outfit here in Brazil. Now time for the trophies to be presented. First of all, the manufacturer trophy, Sean McGill, the team's representative. Eduardo Lopez, Google Cloud President for Latin America, awarding that one to Sean. And that's a lovely bit of silverware for that team to take back to their base.
Welcome Amanda Alves-Miez, FIA Girls on Track representative, to present the trophy.
Now the third place trophy, Amanda Alves-Miez, Girls on Track representative, awards it to Nick Cassidy. First bit of silverware for the Citroën Racing team on their debut in Formula E.
Please welcome Eduardo
With third place for Nick Cassidy. Next up, second place trophy, Eduardo Fujisawa, America's Business Development Leader for Sabic. He awards that P2 trophy to our reigning Drivers' World Champion, Oliver Rowland.
Next, on behalf of Mohammed Ben Sulayem, FIA President, please welcome
now time for the FIA President's Medal.
Vice President CBA,
Eduardo Moratelli, the Vice President CBA.
Jake Dennis.
And it's awarded, of course, to Jake Dennis prior to the winner's trophy. First winner's medal he's actually got there, Jake Dennis, as well, because he was brought in halfway through last season.
Perez, CEO of
now time for the winner's trophy to be presented. Gustavo Perez, the CEO of Sao Paulo Turismo, and it's awarded to Jake Dennis. His 7th Formula E career victory.
Now it's time to celebrate.
Now time to celebrate and duck and run and take cover for some on the podium, I'm sure, with the champagne shower beginning here in Sao Paulo. What a fantastic way to kick off season 12 of the AVB FIA Formula E World Championship. Absolute delight. Hugely enjoyed that one there, and I'm looking forward to more when we continue racing action in Mexico City in January. For now though, let's head down back to Nikki and the team.
Wow, some serious scenes. That is a race that is going in the history books, that's for sure. Guys, let's just quickly unpick some of the highlights of the race. I mean, we cannot not mention the start of the race. What was going on with those Mahindra drivers, particularly Nick De Vries going for spaces that just didn't exist, Sam?
Yeah, it looked a little bit out of control for Nick, to be honest. Look, I don't want to be nasty about another driver, but sometimes I feel like Nick is over the top. He was out of control into turn 1, changed directions, ticked him out, nearly took his teammate out. Both Mahindras had to go off the track, so really not ideal start for the Mahindra team.
Yeah, not at all. And then moving on swiftly, there was obviously the big incident that took Mitch Evans out of the race between him and Sebastian Buemi. Another calamity, another, 6 drivers, I think, over the course of the race were taken out.
Yeah, the nature of racing on such a tight track through one of the chicanes. Obviously, Mitch was taken out by Buemi, which then caused the yellow flag and the full course yellow, which then we saw the inevitable happen for Pepe Marti when he was braking on the count, but he felt like the cars in front had broken too early. So, yeah, that was the catalyst, I think, for then the drivers that had their attack mode to be able to work up to get to the podium. Who do you think your standout driver of the day was, Sam?
Standout driver, let's go with Jake Dennis. controlled it so well. He was always going to win that race when that safety car came out.
Yeah, and Katie?
I would just like to say that was my race prediction, so thank you very much. But definitely, I think he controlled it from the front, and we knew it wasn't an easy one to do here. It's not been done before in Sao Paulo, so it was really cool to see the way that he managed that.
Yeah, and let's take a look at that huge moment that brought out the red flag with Pepe Marte, who miraculously just walked away from it. Sam, from your perspective, what's going on when a safety or full course yellow comes out?
Well, the full course yellow, you get a timer from the race directors. That then gets translated onto your dashboard, and you've got 5 seconds to get down to a certain speed, which is 50 kilometers an hour. It looks like Antonio has braked quite conservatively and quite early, which has then forced Nico Müller to go to the left of him and brake relatively conservatively. Pepe Marte, I don't think he's done one of these before, was pushing it to the last minute and got just completely taken out of the equation and was caught massively off guard by the braking of Antonio.
How much is that going to affect him going into the next race?
Well, he's going to need a new car, that's for sure, because
probably a chiropractor as well, I would imagine.
That is going to be going in the skip, and that's such a shame because it's super expensive. And Kiro, it's his first race. It's not ideal, is it?
No, but on the other side, we're just standing outside Andretti. Huge celebrations for them. We haven't seen a win from Jake Dennis, season 10 world champion, since 2024. To be back to winning ways is a huge boost for him and the team.
That is a proper birthday cake celebration there. I think it all started this morning. Last year, his qualifying results weren't where they wanted to be. He was frustrated at that phase in the race, so he's really set this up from the morning to be able to manage the race in the clean air.
Brilliant stuff. Well, there we go. I don't think anyone will be eating that cake, will they? Well, congratulations once again to Andretti, and happy birthday to Roger Griffiths. Hopefully you won't have to wait another year for another win in the team. Thank you so much for joining us for all the action here in Sao Paulo. It was a curtain raiser we will not forget, that's for sure. Have a wonderful festive break. Rewatch that race because it really was jam-packed. And join us in Mexico City as lights will go out once again on the 10th of January. See you then.
We are back in action in Sao Paulo in Brazil to kick off season 12. It's time to send into the Sambadrome as Formula E season 12 is go. Tara jockeying through and the two Mahindras collide.
5-second time penalty.
Double overtake, Oliver Rowland.
Efficient overtakes.
Look at this, he's coming through like a steam train. Contact there, Nato, his teammate there. Tara into the wall, that could bring a safety car out.
Oh, what an idiot.
Evans got clattered into by Sebastian Buemi. Oh, that's absolutely huge. Pepe Marte rolled the car over.
Put it in the skip.
Jake Dennis wins the South